Hey there everyone, it's Misty here. Thank you so much for joining me. Happy Fannie Friday! In today's video, this is going to be part one. We're going to be making a card base. And you're like, Misty, why is that a part one? Well, because maybe I went and got a little fancy. So you're going to need a 12 by 12 sheet of cardstock. I am cutting this down to 5.5 by 12.5. Then I've scored it at 4 1/4 on one side and then 3 5/8 on the other side. We're going to do a tri-fold card and we're going to make a diner. So this, I don't know how this idea came to me, but it did. And so I have some of this mirror card. If you guys watched my Isaac video a couple of months ago, I used this for the mirror in his bar. So I'm going to cut this down to 4 1/4 by 5.5 because that is the size of the front of the card. I'm going to bring in a stylus tool, and for, I think it's like every 1/4 inch on two sides, I'm going to just use my stylus tool to add some stripes. And because I want this to look like the front of like a rail card, like a diner car from up like Northeast. And I really love the look of this. It made taking pictures of it not the easiest, but yeah, I'm really loving how this turned out. So that is adhering to the front of the card, and here you can see how this opens. And I've decided to bring in, this is a rectangle from the chalkboard set. I will have everything I used linked in the description box down below per usual. And I am cutting out a window. So this is going to be like the window from the outside looking in. And you're going to make sure that you only cut the one layer. So you can see here, I had it completely unfolded because I didn't want to mess up and cut something else. And I am using a washi tape for this. You could use the purple tape, etc. But washi tape, I mean, I was a planner. I'm still a planner, I guess. And I have hundreds of rolls. Well, no, probably about 15 rolls. But I'm using the ugly ones to take care of that. Okay. So for the actual diner builder die, I wanted this to look a little bit like neon, as much as you can do neon without coloring and just paper. So the black is going to be the outline per usual, but I'm going to cut out the word diner in this red, but I'm also going to cut it out in this coral. And I wish I could tell you where this coral cardstock is from. I cannot. I'm going to be using some double-sided adhesive sheets. I used to purchase these from Sizzix, but they are so much cheaper on Amazon. I believe these may be like 8 by 12 sheets, but you just want to look for double-sided adhesive sheets. These make doing, small intricate die cuts and stuff super easy. It also helps me not have to worry about getting adhesive all over the front of this mirrored cardstock. So you just pull off one side and you attach it to the back of the cardstock, and then you just die cut accordingly. The one thing I will say is these are very sticky. You see there, me thinking I'm going to pull it up. Nope. Once it's down, it's down. So you're going to want to be a little careful with that. So again, I'm going to run this through using some washi tape, and then I have a Gemini Junior. I think it's a Junior, and I'm running that through. So here you can see that I'm just poking everything out, and then we're going to adhere it. So I'm going to adhere the coral just a little offset to give it like a drop shadow. So the red is going to be the drop shadow and the more neon, quote unquote, part of this. And then this is going to adhere to the black. And again, it's just simple. Just peel off the backing paper and you are good to go. Next week, we'll work on the characters and like the milkshakes and stuff like that. And we will really use these when we start putting together all of the cute food that Anne has provided in the builder dies. So I'm going to get this adhered over the window. And then I am going to bring in the backyard builder die. I wanted to add some greenery out front. Initially, I thought about using the houseplant dies from December's release, but then I thought, no, it would be more like a bush than it would be houseplants. So, and then I am cutting out the bar top from the coffee bar, and those were from November, I believe. So I've actually cut out probably 10 of those by this point. We're going to have a couple of browns. We're going to have like 4 or 5 grays. So you're going to see me cutting them out. And then eventually I stop showing you because you've seen me do it. So again, I've added the adhesive to the back of these, and I'm just pulling it off and placing it down. And I just keep a little bowl on my desk to throw all the pieces in. And I'm just going to trim off the rest with some scissors. So that is the outside of the diner, and that is done. Now, on the inside, I'm going to have a counter on the right side and a counter on the left side. But I wanted to add some wallpaper, quote unquote wallpaper, to the back of this wall. So I'm going to bring in one of the stencils from this month's release, and I'm going to bring in red. I was taking my own life in my hands when I did this with red, but luckily I did not manage to get this anywhere, which is a miracle in America. So I'm just using washi tape. I covered the other side with an old piece of cardstock. That's actually one of the pieces. It took me forever to figure out the measurements for this. You guys, I am not good with, I was a straight A student, except for geometry. I got a C in geometry. And that's because my teacher kept telling me, I was like, I don't understand it. And he's like, you don't have to understand it. You just have to do it, which was dumb. And I got a C. But yeah, I am not good with measurements. I'm not good with spatial sense. Math is not for me. Math is not for me. So it took me a while to kind of figure out the measurements, and then I finally did it. And I really like the way this looks. Now, you may notice that the paper looks a little dingy. It's actually like a really, really, really light blue. I don't own much 12 by 12 cardstock. I'm not going to lie, because I'm not someone who does 3D. So I'm like, I don't need it. But if I'm going to continue making cards like this, I should probably invest in a pretty good pack, because this is just from Recollections from Michaels, and it's pretty thin, but it's holding up. So on the left side, I thought I would do this in black. And again, it's just meant to be like a counter for the window. And I haven't decided what will go in that window. Maybe we'll put some food or something. I haven't decided. And that's tomorrow's Misty's problem. Today's Misty put a lot of effort and thought into today's card, and so this part of it. So tomorrow I'll think more about it. So again, just cutting that out, same old. Using some washi tape, running it through, and then I'm going to get this adhered to the inside of the piece. You absolutely 100% do not have to use adhesive sheets, but again, it can be just a little bit easier if you ask me. So here it is. This is where it's going in. I am going to bring in another one of those bar tops, like I mentioned, and I'm going to put that underneath the window, and then we'll put our little counter underneath it. Ta-da! All right, next we're going to work on the other side, and this is where Arnold is going to be doing his cooking. So I'm going to initially I thought I was going to bring in the word die to put at the top above the counter. I was like, that doesn't really make all that much sense. So we're going to leave it there. But I was trying to figure out what I was going to do for this side. And I thought he would need a little window because he's going to be looking into the dining room. And then he would need some shelves and a cooktop. So I'm going to cut out 3 of the bar tops out of this gray. And those are, actually, do I do 3 or do I do 4? I think I do 3. And then I was trying to find a small rectangle and ended up using, I believe this is the treehouse die to find this one that's a little window. And again, you're not going to want it to cut all the way through. So you're going to want to make sure that you run it through just like this. That way it only cuts this one layer. All right, that's done. And I'm like, I really was trying to figure out how I was going to do an oven, because an oven or a stove or a cooktop or whatever is shiny. And so this is actually the inside piece of the window that we cut from the front. And I thought, oh, that will work out really well because you'll see here in just a minute, I eventually realized I need to scoot it up. It cut out a piece on the top and it cut out a piece on the bottom. So I'm going to put like a baseboard at the bottom. Then we're going to put the cooktop. And then we're just going to kind of build this little area on the right-hand side for Arnold to stand in front of. And again, I normally don't do cards this involved, but this idea came to me and I couldn't not do it. I was like, it's in my brain. I want to get it done. When you guys see the love event, you'll hear me say something very similar to that. I normally don't have a plan, but once I get an idea in my head or if something pops in my head, I'm like, okay, I want to get that. Let's give it a try. We'll see how it does. We'll see how it works, and we'll go from there. So there's our little stove for our fry cook, Mr. Arnold. And then I'm going to put a couple of, these are going to be for shelves. And I will probably put some coffee things from last month's release, November's release on there. And then we'll have like some ketchup and stuff like that. So this is kind of my idea. He's going to be on the inside. I'm going to bring in Carol's die, and then we'll bring in Peggy's die. So Carol's going to be on the outside, then you're going to open it up, you're going to see Arnold, and then you're going to open it up again, and you're going to see Miss Peggy sitting on her stool. Now, I had initially thought I was going to put another like kind of counter where she is, but you'll see later that I changed my mind on that. It just felt like it was like we have too many countertops. We wouldn't need quite this many. So I wanted a black and white checkerboard. And this is, I understand that's not what this is, but I tried to draw one. I tried to use the disco stencil, and I just wasn't loving it. And I thought, you know what, Misty, just use this. And then I decided to use this piece of red to make a counter for Peggy to sit at. Because, where was I? I think it's like a drive up or drive in. In my hometown, I can remember either standing or sitting at a red counter in a stool, and just having stuff behind it. So I thought this would be fun. And the last thing I'm going to add for this week is a couple of pennants. I thought it would be fun to have some decor that kind of represented a school. And I just came up with green and blue because I've used red and aqua and black and all the other ones a few times. So, and then initially I wrote Go Team, and my handwriting is garbage. So I go ahead and you'll see it just like so bad. Misty, you can't even sign your name. What are you thinking about trying to write on these pennants? So if you have cute little like words, like letter stickers, that would be really cute. I know Anne has a letter dies, but I'm going to guess those are probably way too big for this. So I'm going to go ahead and get this adhered to kind of leave it so they're too uncovered. And again, I was doing this because I wanted to write Go Team, and Go Team fit. It just didn't look good. So I went back and I cut them all out again. This time I didn't worry about adding adhesive to the back because I decided to pop these up. So there you can see it's not quite so bad from this far back, but if you get a little closer, it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. Now we'll have to see if I can find some letter stickers between now and then, but we'll see. So I'm adding just a little bit of foam tape behind those, and once I get those adhered, that's going to be it for this week. So make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. You can find all of the links in the description box down below. Next week, we're going to add the characters. We're going to add some of the food. We'll add some coffee. We'll do all of the things. So thank you so much for joining me today, friends. I really do appreciate you. I hope you have a good day, night, weekend, wherever you are, and we will see you in our next video. Bye for now.